Welcome everyone to the JK Podcast, the only podcast that survived 2020. We're the last one, Josh. No one else made it.
We're the last, yeah, pretty much. Though we might be one of the last people recording a podcast of the year, more or less.
I mean, it's only the 27th. There are people going to be podcasting up until midnight. You know that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, we haven't done a podcast since the summer. So,
see, that's the thing. I try to joke that we're semi-annual or whatever, and we've really been living up to it recently. So I'm kind of proud of us, Ken.
There's a great joke in There's a great joke in Parks and Rec, where Aziz Ansari's character wants to open a bar called Eclipse that's only open once a year on an eclipse. It's the most exclusive club to get into.
Nice.
And it's only open for the length of the eclipse, so it's open for 15 minutes, and then that's it. That's basically what our podcast has become. We show up for 15 minutes
more or less,
and then disappear for a year.
Yeah, I mean, a joke that makes people want to come back for more, and I guess maybe it's true. I don't know. Hopefully, maybe this experiment will go over well.
Anyways, I'm Ken O'Connor.
I'm Josh Brandman.
And we are currently recording on December 27th, 2020 at 2:36 p.m. on the East Coast. And this is the JK Podcast, episode 62.
Yeah. 62? Yeah, I remember when we did a whole special thing of we made it to 60. And then it's
what was it?
Your
60?
whole thing of how, I don't know, even 50 or whatever. And it's wow, it took us this many years or whatever to get to 50 or 60 or whatever. And now it's took us a whole year to get to 2 more.
It's still a depressing number considering we've been doing this podcast. I think every podcast we do this. We say, how long did we start this podcast? We go on YouTube, we look up the first video. Wow, it's been 7 years. We're only 60 episodes in.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where we make the rules.
No,
we don't go by other people's rules. No, I don't know.
No, you make the rules. I am locked to your.
It's my fault.
I'm locked to your schedule.
It's my fault.
No, you have a life and a job and all this important stuff going on, and I just sit here and play Animal Crossing.
Yeah, you and your Animal Crossing, but not a good enough computer to stream anything.
Well, I have a new PC that I'll be using in 2021. I'm waiting for the grand reveal and whatnot.
Are you gonna make a YouTube video?
I don't know, man. YouTube is so old. I know we put these up on YouTube after we finish recording them, but I don't know. I got so burned by YouTube after the whole monetization thing got taken away because of the stupid Paul brothers. That.
I mean, I looked into it though, not into that, but the YouTube videos that actually make the most money, their ads or whatever, or per click, whatever people average, is actually financial videos or literally how to make money. Those videos make the most money, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, it seems like video games and things like that, they don't monetize well. Even if they are monetized, you don't actually see that much of a return.
Well, at least anymore. They used to. Back when the algorithm first changed and YouTube started paying out more for long form media, Let's Plays, hour-long Let's Plays that you could crank out every single day, did really, really well. Yeah. But then they've changed, everything has changed so much on YouTube that now no one really knows what does well. And you're seeing a lot of big creators have to change their style and apparently now if you put a number in your title or thumbnail, this is episode 3 or 4, YouTube won't promote it as much because it's not readily available. Because if you see it's episode 75, someone has to go back and watch the first 74 episodes, and that drives them away from the content. So now people are taking out episode numbers from their videos and their thumbnails, and it's just oh my god, the craziest Fortnite kill, even though it's episode 31 of Fortnite Forever or whatever like that. Now it's just clickbait-y, and YouTube wants that. That's what YouTube wants. They want less commitment from the person coming in, which I don't like, but...
Well, either that or become Kind King 01 financial advice. and then there you go.
Yeah, buy Pokemon cards and get them graded. That's my current financial advice.
It's true, though. Isn't it something like there's a backup of like at least half a year on these grading things almost normally?
Let's not get into that. This has been the worst year ever to get into Pokemon cards. I don't even want to start talking about it.
Well, I haven't. So, there you go. Right. Though, the funny thing was, really quick, the only thing I'll say on it, last thing, is that I did remember when I went back home like a month ago for a few days, I was like, I do have Pokemon cards, like old ones, whatever. I decided to just take them out to look at them for a second. I actually have some pretty rare stuff, and I was like, wow. But then, of course, you look at the quality. It's like all the holograph stuff has like marks all over and like all slash things and like, just from general use, and it's a little folded or a little bent or whatever. Oh, yeah. And it's like, like even though that card is maybe like literally $1,000 card, my condition of the card is probably like what, $10 or something stupid where, it costs you more to get it graded than it is worth.
Yeah. At this point, yeah. But, well, it's crazy. I was going through, you know me, I have tons of cards. I was going through my promos the other day, and do you remember, like, way back when we were kids, I went to Nintendo New York back when it was still the Pokemon Center? Mm-hmm. I went there for the Latios and Latias event for Ruby and Sapphire, and when you went there...
I remember that, and you were bragging about it, and then you hooked up my thing, and then you got me the Eon ticket.
Yep, that's correct. When I went there, I got a promo Pokemon card, and it's the Pokemon Center, and it's a picture of what the building looked like on the second floor back at the time. That promo card is the second most expensive promo card of the base set game, I found out. Like it goes for hundreds. Is that in any good
condition or something? Is it still in the wrap?
No, it's not still in the wrap. I definitely took it out. I'm looking at it, like it's definitely scuffed up, but like it's not like damaged at all. It's just like it's heavily played is what it would be called. So, but I have one of the most expensive promo cards just sitting in my binder, which is pretty cool. But like, damn, if I had kept it like in pristine condition, it would be like thousands probably at this point.
Yeah, definitely one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I always feel that way, even with like the Funko Pop things or whatever. Like, you want to buy these things to enjoy them, but at the same time, if you ever want to resell it, you're not allowed to ever enjoy it. Yeah. Like you can't actually use it. You almost have to have it in a temperature controlled environment. You need to like, I don't know, the levels of security on it to make your investment
return on investment or something. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's gonna be my financial channel.
Which, God, have you seen all those Pokemon card break things?
No, we're not getting into that. We're going way off topic already. We can't do this. All right, but this
anyway.
This is the JK Podcast, episode 62. We are streaming live on twitch.tv/KindKing01. It is our last episode for the year for 2020, the longest year in history. We have some people watching live in the chat. We have Dr. Duck Brown, D, T Robe. D, I never know how to say the second part of your name. I've called it Trobe before. I call it T Robe. I just call you D, but I know that. And Etzero is here as well. So we have some people live in the chat, which is nice. We're going over our Game of the Years this episode. Games of the Year. I kept writing Games of the Year.
I mean, we could also do that too. We could just start from 2000 or something.
You want to go backwards and name every game?
No, I'd rather not. But
1992 was a good year for Mario 1. No, it's not.
Was
even.
It?
No, Mario's older than that.
Well, right, but now I'm wondering, did any game like that come out in 1992?
All right, we're doing this.
Yu Yu Hakusho came out in 1992.
Did it really?
Yeah.
1992.
Yeah, first episode, October 10th, 1992.
All right, so in terms of...
Wait, they only had 4 seasons, and the final episode was on... What? Wait.
For Yu Yu Hakusho? Yeah.
What am I looking at? The final episode was in 1994.
Yeah, that's crazy. 2 years after we were born.
What was their release schedule? What the heck?
The isolation.
They made it sound like they were like brand new seasons. I've been duped.
All right. The highest selling NES games for 1992. Tecmo Super Bowl, Super Mario Bros. 3, Tetris, Super Mario. Oh wait, it's just the highest selling. Where's the release?
Oh yeah, wait, yeah, man.
Yeah, I was like, there's no way. Just going through this really quickly. Oh, Beetlejuice came out for the Game Boy in 1992.
Shout out to Schnickles.
Yeah. Dragon Ball Z Legend of the Super Saiyan for SNES. Didn't even know that was a game. That came out in January that year. Paperboy came out in February. Qbert came out.
Oh, I played that.
Contra 3, Addams Family. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Yeah, this was a hot year for gaming.
Actually, kind of was.
Kirby's Dream Land for the Game Boy came out. That's a hit. I'll take that. 1992, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's about it.
It sounds very arbitrary for everyone else caring at all about this part of the conversation, but yeah, no, that's because like we were born in 1992. So if you're wondering why we just picked that,
I mean,
because other people are like, why do you care so much about 1992?
It was a good year.
But the one thing I'll last say on Yu Yu Hakusho, I was just curious because it originally came out from 1992 to 1994, but it never was in English at all until 2002.
When Toonami picked it up, right?
Right. So 2002 to eventually when they ended it in 2006. So in my mind, that's when the anime was, which is very confusing to me now on such a delay. It's like, you know, how it used to be with like even Pokemon games or, you know, video games kind of like that from Japan. We would just get it later, like a year later or whatever. I mean, this was like 10 years later, like, jeez.
Well, it's like a Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. Like, we got it years after it like wrapped up in Japan, and so much so that we got Dragon Ball Z before we got Dragon Ball, and then when they brought Dragon Ball to America, it was like, oh, the Dragon Ball Z prequel. Like, it was treated as like a new thing.
Yeah.
Even though it was...
it's weird to think about. Anyway.
Yeah, well, now we're spoiled with like day-and-day release of anime and manga.
I know. Now it's like you have people working for Crunchyroll or whatever site, and they're like, we're live translating this as it's out. It's like, oh my god.
Oh, should we talk about that real quick? That Crunchyroll got bought?
What?
Crunchyroll was bought by Funimation.
Oh, yeah.
So, and Funimation's owned by Sony. So now Sony has the monopoly now on all anime coming to the West.
Is that a good thing? I don't know about that.
I don't know if it's a good thing. Like, nothing has changed with my Crunchyroll account yet. But I'm like, does this
has to still...
No, go ahead.
Keep going.
Does this mean I get...
Oh my...
Go ahead.
All I'll say, my thing is quicker. It's just that nothing should happen just yet because it didn't, I guess, officially like go through. It's like they agreed on the thing, but it like I don't think the process like happened yet.
Correct.
So you shouldn't see any change now. But what's also interesting is Crunchyroll, as of this moment, is owned by AT&T.
Yes, and AT&T is selling to Sony.
I never knew that AT&T owned Crunchyroll. Anyway.
Yeah, it was acquired. It was acquired years ago when Crunchyroll went legit. Because you remember, Crunchyroll back in the day was like a torrent site. It was all illegal uploads. And then it became a real thing. And they added the paid service because they started actually becoming a real company. Yada yada. Like back in the day, Crunchyroll was like skeevy.
Well, I do like how this one article compares it to where Crunchyroll is like the Netflix and Funimation is like the Hulu.
That's a really good way. Really good way of describing it. But like that's the thing that I'm worried. Yeah. Like, does Funimation now become more like Crunchyroll, or does Crunchyroll become more like Funimation? Do I lose things? Like, does my Crunchyroll account become a Funimation account, or vice versa? Mm-hmm. Like I've never used Funimation for their videos at all. Like I bought from their shop. Yeah. I've never used their streaming services.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, they might just do like a blended thing or like a membership that's only for Crunchyroll site stuff still, but you have to go through Funimation to get to the... I don't know. But...
And like, I think Crunchyroll is part of HBO Max too. Like, I don't know how that works either. Which one has JoJo? Don't they? I think.
Well, at least Crunchyroll I know has JoJo.
Which one though? All the JoJos?
I thought so.
JoJo. Oh, I'm on Crunchyroll's site right now, just typing it in. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah, it's on. Yeah, it's on Crunchyroll.
Right. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah, but I just hope that like nothing gets, because I'm so reliant on Crunchyroll for like my weekly One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
So. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't cause a big disturbance. Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
All right, we've been
$1.2 billion deal. Okay, anyway. Mm-hmm.
It's a big industry, and anime is huge.
I get it.
All right, should we move into our Game of the Year section, then we can talk about whatever we want afterwards?
Sure, let's kick it off.
Game of the Year, brought to you by Mountain Dew and Doritos. Did you, before we begin, did you watch the Game Awards this year?
I did.
Were you impressed at all?
At least most of it.
Were you...
The production was pretty good. It's like now I don't even remember half the time how it normally goes, but I feel like they did it pretty well given everything.
Yeah, I feel like Jeff Keighley's really doing a good job with that stuff.
I still just want to get this clear in my head though. This Jeff Keighley, man, didn't he just kind of come out of nowhere and then he like put on this thing, like he basically paid for this thing to be an award show, like he's behind it and funded it at least initially, and was just kind of like, I want to do Game Awards?
No, back when the Game Awards was part of, do you remember like Spike TV, or I think it was like was it FX
G4
or G4, whatever. The Game Awards used to be a thing on all those other channels, always hosted by Jeff Keighley. He's been like a journalism/video game like guy for like as long as I can remember. And once all that ended, he bought all the rights and everything. And like, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. And so he's been really like channeling this thing the last couple of years on his own. And he's been doing a really good job with it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Brought to you by Vin Diesel.
Okay. He was in there. That was for Arc, I think, right?
He was. Yeah. Arc 2 with Vin Diesel. Mm-hmm. It's the next Fast and the Furious. They're going back in time.
Yeah, it's something.
The word for family is ooga booga.
Oh god. Yeah, but no. I mean, I thought it was pretty well done. I mean, given all the circumstances, I mean, they had the Zoom call things or whatever they were doing, like that seemed to work pretty well.
Yeah. Did you
had the?
Did you see the one though where like I forget what game developer it was or what game or anything?
Oh, but I know exactly what you're talking about. The one with the lady outside.
He's inside a room on a Zoom call, and there's a woman behind him outside of the house through a window talking.
No, no, everyone's memeing it, but like they did it for safety reasons.
No,
like they're apparently. No, but they're apparently neighbors, and I guess the way that it was set up in whatever complex or whatever thing that they live in, like, I don't know, I guess people can walk up to your first floor, like, window or something, and you're right there. It's just, the funny thing to me was that she actually sounded so much clearer than he did.
Yes.
Like, but it was funny. It was a little weird, but, like... fine.
I just turned over and saw that, and like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, I mean, I forget, they won something, right? I guess they did, but
Sarah was saying it was for The Last of Us 2, which probably because Last of Us 2 won every single award that night.
That's true. I mean, between them and then Among Us, I guess.
Yeah, and even though Among Us technically isn't a 2020 game. It's a 2019 game, but...
Well, I guess No, well, the thing is, technically, it's like 2020, I think, just in the fact that it came out for PC, like on Steam. Because I think before that, like...
that's right.
Well, it existed in 2018 purely on the phone. I don't know when they made it also on Steam. Mm-hmm.
Among Us, let's see...
Also, technically, it is a 2020 game, though, because it came out on the Switch in 2020.
Oh, my God. Okay, well, It came to Android June 2018. It came to Windows November 2018. And you're right, it came to...
Oh, it did, okay.
It came to Switch last week, so I guess it counts as a 2020 game if we're splitting hairs here.
I guess. Well, but I think... Well, the thing is, though, I think they were basing at least their awards, or I guess they were just kind of doing it off of 2020 games, though.
Well,
I don't know.
Literally, no one heard of Among Us until 2020, so like that's why I'm okay with it.
Right.
And they've done so much like development on the game this year that they might as well have made a whole new game this year. Like that's why I'm not mad at it, and I'm happy to see a small indie team like make it to like the big leagues like this. So.
Yeah, it is just a weird kind of exception that was kind of made, but yeah, and to my knowledge, it was basically just born out of like. Random popular streamers found this game and were kind of like, hey, I'm bored, who wants to play this with me?
Yeah,
and then it like really caught on.
Yep. And this is a perfect year for that. So
next thing you know, I mean, I still have these streams that are like on my followed list or whatever, where they're always like doing Among Us lobbies at least in the morning or some at night or on the weekends or something. Like, it's still just keep going. I'm like, I'm sick of it, but
I'm not sick of it because every time I watch it, when I watch people who I know playing it and like I can like get into like their like groove, it's hilarious to me. I find no enjoyment of watching random people play. Like if I don't know the person at all and I'm watching like, oh, it's like, okay, I don't know these personalities, I don't know who they are. It's not funny to me. But like,
yeah, I mean, I think I could relate to that. I mean, the thing is with at least, popular streamers or whoever playing it, it was kind of fun to just kind of see and whatever. But then when they play it every day for hours, I'm like, all right, I'm kind of tired of watching this. But then, yeah, I mean, if you see your own friends playing it or someone else, or you're playing it yourself, I could see how that's still fun and it's still whatever. But at least in terms of like active like Twitch viewing consistently and stuff, like I'm curious. I mean, because at least for me, I don't really prefer to watch that stuff.
It depends on your community. Like if you got like 5 of your favorite streamers all in a game together, I'm sure you would love that, right?
Yeah, but the thing is but they've done that for the past 5 months. Like I'm done. Like, I'm sick of that.
We talked about this back when we were doing the Crown Tundra raids, didn't we? That you were done with Among Us back then.
Maybe.
Even. This conversation
like
sounds familiar.
I mean, if anything, it looks like it is going down. Like, because my way of gauging it usually was kind of how many people are streaming League and how many people are streaming Among Us, because it seemed to be Among Us was at that par, because League is usually top 3 at least for streaming purposes. And maybe Fortnite or something special being promoted is like higher or whatever, but Among Us was usually pretty much tied with League or slightly higher, slightly below. But like as of right now, like 160 something people are streaming League. 160,000 people are watching League streams, and right now just under 80,000 are watching Among Us streams. So about half now. It's actually cut in half. So I think it's early in the day, but a little surprising. But I could see it's starting to be a little bit of a downward trend, at least until probably when these new maps or the one new map thing comes out.
The airship,
whenever people are probably gonna pick it up at least for another month or two and be like, that was fun, and then it's done. But
yeah, I don't know. Good on that team for getting the amount of recognition that they did get. It's a free game on phone. It's a $5 game on everywhere else. Like even on the Switch, it was $5. It's been the number one game in the eShop since it came out. So,
Oh, and actually, I see also welcome to Cousin Thomas in the chat, but I'm also seeing him saying, Fall Guys as well. That one though was more. That was a lot less. It was a lot shorter lived of a game.
Yeah, Fall Guys came out, made a huge impression, and then disappeared. And like they're on season 3 now, but like I still see
with the winter stuff.
Yeah,
but what it was is it was super popular for like a month or two, and then at that point, Among Us started being popular, so people shifted over because that was more multiplayer, easier to do multiplayer, whatever. And Fall Guys was getting pretty stale, and once you kind of jump off of the game, it's harder to come back. So it hasn't really come back at all just because it fell off so hard. If I'm just even looking right now. I
found it funny that the Fall Guys, like the little like people you play as in the Among Us like astronauts, they look kind of similar. So like when Fall Guys went down and Among Us came up, I'm like, oh wow, I guess this is just the trend this year for video games. As long as you have a character like this who looks like a jelly bean.
Yeah, I mean, and Fall Guys is under 7K viewers right now.
Oof.
Yeah, so I mean, they've really fallen a lot. I think it maybe went up to 20 something thousand when they had the first day or two of the season 3 update or something. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just not as interesting to watch anymore. Like, I think people are kind of over it.
I was really I was really hyped on Fall Guys when it first came out, but I admit I didn't play season 2, and I have no desire to play season 3 right now.
Yeah, I feel like that's honestly, if we're talking about like game of the year and stuff like that, I mean, that seems like the big trend this year more than others, in my opinion. And I think that's a lot because of everyone's home and just kind of chilling, or, people are watching streams more, people are playing more games, maybe not us, but like generally people are trying to play things more in general, maybe not new games, but play things. And so things seem to be more trendy this year. Like, literally, the fact that chess was a trend for like 3 months in the summer, like, that tells you something. Like, there was like the chess meta, where it was like all of Twitch was like just playing like 12 hours straight of chess, where they're getting coached by people that play chess. And,
well, isn't that because,
this grandmaster is teaching me how to play chess today, and all this stuff.
Isn't that because Queen's Gambit came out and everyone got really hooked on chess?
No, this was back in the summer and stuff. It just happened to be that then Queen's Gambit came out, and people were like, wow, now I really appreciate chess. But no, this was before.
What are the odds?
It was like around, I don't know. I know, I have no idea. But like May or June or something, that's when chess really blew up. And I was like, God, I'm sick of this. And, it's crazy, though. And people are just literally learning how to play chess. We've gone from so many, like, almost like Twitch stream metas. It's been really weird this year. And, went then to, like, Fall Guys and now Among Us. And, Among Us is starting to drop off a bit. And people were blending in, like, Phasmophobia and all that stuff in between other kind of party-ish games. It's been weird to see these kind of trends, and now I feel like we're at an in-between again, where people are trying to figure out what's the next new hot game. I saw some people playing Raft, which I have no idea what that is. But
I've never even heard of that.
You're literally on a raft. I don't know. But so we'll see what the next, I guess, Twitch meta is. But it's been interesting to watch. I know people also went back to mini Minecraft meta because they updated with more shaders and HD textures.
Yep. Stardew Valley just got the 1.3 patch.
Beaches. There's the beaches map for Stardew Valley. Now, the problem is with Stardew Valley, you make a whole new map, then you got to start a whole new farm file. And you come so far on the other one. I don't want to start over.
You can't just go to the new area from your old one?
No, because it's not a new area. The thing is, that's actually like when you're first selecting your farm or like your property or whatever for the game. Like, you can choose a couple themes. Like, you want it to be more like monsters oriented or more water based or kind of basic farm where it's more just like straight up land that you farm. And now they're like, oh, here's a beach option. But then that forces you to make a new farm with the beach option. And, I get it for, like, super diehard people. Like, now I want to have my file on the beach and test out all these beach things and see how I can further optimize from the beginning and go this path. But, like, it's like, shoot, when I'm on, like, year 3 or something of my regular farm, I don't want to, restart like that.
Oh, wow.
And, plus, and especially when you got, like, co-op things and whatnot, and you have, like, co-op farms, like, it's not even you resetting, then it's... if you want to reset a co-op thing, everyone's got to be on board for it. I don't know. It's too much of a reset in my mind. It's cool, but...
I thought you were going to be all hyped about that. I didn't know that it was a complete reset. I thought, like, hey, you can now travel to a new area and make, like, a second farm area kind of thing.
Yeah, I wish I was on more of a hype train with that. I mean, I know people were also hyped super about, like, the WoW expansion that came out, Shadowlands. People
Apparently,
are going nuts
this
about
WoW
that
expansion is,
now.
like, the best WoW expansion in a while, though. I heard some really good things about it.
I just can't get into it. It's not my thing.
Neither can I, but...
Yeah, it seems, in my mind, it seems very still outdated. I don't like the graphics. I don't know. Yeah. It's crazy, but people love it. And you pay monthly for it still, to my knowledge.
Yep.
Which that model's outdated, too. They're like the only ones that could survive off of that right now.
At Zero in the chat says that Raft is a game where you're on a raft and you grab items floating by and survive, kind of like an ocean skybox. Which I can see the appeal to that.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's another one of those kind of co-op games, and people are trying to now look for like Among Us alternatives in a sense. So it's kind of like the Phasmophobia thing. That's I guess Raft is like a kind of other kind of Phasmophobia survival kind of work together thing.
Yeah, not to get too hung up on Among Us for too long, but like if you think about it, Among Us is just like Werewolf and Mafia with like extra flash mini games in between. Like we played a fair amount of Werewolf back in the day with our friends.
Yeah.
And the discussion part and like the betrayal part is like the most fun part of the game. The walking around and like doing like the tasks and like jumping out the trash and changing the oxygen. Like that stuff's not really compelling. You're just doing it for as long as you can until you die.
Well, I mean, true. I mean, a few things. I mean, I think it got really popular because of the fact that, of course, it's something visual. It's not just purely talking.
Yes.
Though, I mean, technically, there's like the game like Town of Salem or whatever, which is one of the original kind of mafia kind of games.
Yep.
Which that has an online free thing, but it's still more talking based. This is a little more action based and a little more visual, so it's a better streaming type game. Plus, technically there's more metagame to it in a sense that when you're moving around, you can position yourself differently on the map where you can group up or you can do other things or, based on if the imposter person calls for the oxygen thing, depending on where you are versus where they are, there is more strategy behind that. So I get that. But yeah, I mean, at its core, it's really just that same kind of stuff. It's just another lying type of game.
Yeah.
And, I think they do it pretty well. I'm not the biggest fan of those types of games. I don't find them super entertaining. Like, I wouldn't just play that on end. But, to each their own. I think it's still a fun party game kind of thing. It's just, I guess, I'm not in the position to do it. So maybe that's why I don't like it as much. 'Cause, like, I feel like the way I would play it is over PC. And I feel like I just, at this point in my life, I just don't have a lot of friends that would play this on PC and we'd get in a big call. I feel like if I was back in college, we would definitely spend like a whole Saturday playing this or something, and all of us would get on our laptops, all of us would get on Discord or be all in a room with our laptops and we'd all whatever. But I'm not at that point in my life anymore. So
once I set up my new PC for 2021, do you want to try an attempt in Among Us night?
Oh my god. I mean, I know I've seen my brother stream it sometimes with his friends or like viewers or whatever sometimes, and maybe
like we're not gonna like this has to be like hours on end, but like I would love to try to like just like experience one game the way it's supposed to be played and see like if it was worth all the hype. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. I will have to see if
I've played the phone version a couple times with friends over like Zoom and stuff like that, and it doesn't work as well over the phone. And like having the ability like to mute an entire call is like really helpful because I don't know.
Yeah, it's just always one of those things where I feel like I just wouldn't get enough use out of it, even for the $5. I'm like, who am I playing with? Like, I don't know. It's just all these streamers playing with themselves. It's like it's not. And no, take that as you want. But anyway,
I'm taking it as I want. All right.
Perfect. I mean, it's like maybe if I really wanted, I could like join in on my brother's or something. If he was actually streaming one night, I'd be like, "Hey, let me play" or something. But like, I don't know. But yeah, I guess if you do buy it when you set up all your stuff, maybe let me know. We'll figure it out. And
all right.
We could maybe get a small group at least or something.
That sounds fun. All right, let's get into our game of the year. We've been bullshitting now for like half an hour, so let's get into the actual meat.
Well, no, we've been talking about games throughout the year. It's just not games of the year, like top games.
Not games that we don't like or have not played.
No, but I think if anything, I still think it's important to at least set the scene, or at least still discuss and recap kind of what the year was like in games.
I agree.
Or Twitch or whatever.
Yeah. It's all kind of connected now.
I agree.
All right. So me and Josh went through and we picked our top 5 games of the year. When we started doing the the document for today's episode, I made it a top 10 for each of us, and it became very clear early on that I didn't even play 10 games this year. So I cut it down to 5, which I was able to fill out the 5 pretty easily. Josh really reached to get 5 games this year, it looks like. So
all right, but here's always the thing. It's because, first of all, I mean, I guess that's really how it should go, is these Game of the Year things are typically, as we talked about Among Us being, I guess, a minor exception, they're really games that come out in the one year. But, on some level, I feel like that's a little deceiving, because let's say, this is the year where you finally caught up on, 50 games that you just never got around to playing from the past 10 years. Technically, none of those count on this list. So these are purely games that just came out.
Games that came out in 2020 that we played.
Right.
So it can't be things
put that out there.
Yeah, it can't be things that came out that we didn't play. It can't be old games that we did play. This is things that came out this year that we played that we enjoyed.
Yeah, because I play League of Legends all the time, and they update it literally every 2 weeks. There's a new patch that at least has minor updates or something, and that's not counting here. So I do play things. I'm just putting that out there as a
all right, Josh. So what
everyone shames my picks.
What is your number 5 then, Josh?
Oh boy. So everyone in the chat and watching this on YouTube or whatever, or watching this even 10 years from now randomly when it gets kind of recommended for you for no reason. You're like, who even are these people? Why is this recommended to me 10 years later? But I'll watch it. What the heck? Okay. So my number 5 is going to be the Clubhouse 51 games, or whatever it's called. I would like to explain my choice first before you start criticizing me.
You have the floor.
And before Cousin Thomas completely goes off on me for picking this as number 5. So the Clubhouse 51, I mean, it's literally 51, or though technically in my mind it's less, because some of them are single-player games only, which is, I don't know. Anyway.
It's still a game, just because it's single-player. Even...
So, no. These types of games, almost like Smash or something, they're games that, I just wouldn't play by myself. I have to play it with people. So... Clubhouse 51, I did enjoy playing it. I still have it, but I enjoyed playing it with my girlfriend, and it was fun, and we're playing things. And, I thought it was a nice little kind of change it up and, randomly play things. And I guess I learned how to play, I think, what did we play? Maybe backgammon or something? Something like that, or... a backgammon-like game. I don't know. I feel I actually kind of learned how to play some games.
That's cool.
So it was fun. I don't know. I liked it for what it was. It was cute. I didn't play that many games this year that came out in 2020. So there you go. There's my number 5.
Technically, you played 51 games in one right there.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, I already found a loophole in this whole thing.
I haven't picked up Clubhouse 51 yet. You bought it digitally, right?
Yeah.
Because it's first party Nintendo, I want to buy a physical copy of it. So, but
this is one of those games where.
Go ahead. Go ahead. One of these games.
I was just saying, it feels like one of those you're perfectly fine buying this digitally.
Oh yeah, no,
you're not gonna lose
100%.
sleep over it. You're not gonna be in 10 years, be like, God, I wish if I just had a physical copy to bring out and dig up and put on my Switch 5 and play Clubhouse 51.
Switch 5.
I don't know.
That's a thing.
PS5, I don't know. It came to my mind. Switch 5. I mean, it's better than the new 3DS. Anyway.
Right, the new Switch. Again, Clubhouse 51 games, it looks fun. It came out at a perfect time for quarantine, to play little old school board games online with people. They're all those games are online, right? That's the entire appeal to it.
Yeah, well, it's a little tricky though, because you'd have to own a copy. You can also do it online with like friends that don't own it but have like a demo version, but you're limited to like 4 select games that can work for that.
Even that's a pretty,
which is still
that's
decent.
a pretty good deal, honestly.
Right. Or if you're local, like when I was playing it, we had the 2 Switches, like we were together, so it was local, and that makes it so you could just play any of the games.
I think that's a really smart model on their part. Actually, it reminds me of the old 3DS games, where like if you didn't have Mario Kart back in the day, you could still play Mario Kart with a friend. You just be stuck as the shy guy.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Right. I thought that was pretty good. So
yeah. No. Again, like I don't think it's Game of the Year material. I think it's a fun little game that made your list. And like I'm gonna pick it up one day when the physical copy drops down to like $10, but I'm in no rush to pick it up.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Then what is your number 5, Sir Kenneth?
Well, this works out because my number 5 is actually your number 4, so we can kind of talk about this together.
You're spoiling my list.
I mean, it would be spoiled anyway if people are.
Continue.
My number 5 was Paper Mario: The Origami King.
All right.
Well, we discussed this a lot.
I already talked about mine, so you start.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because our last episode was back in the summer, and it was all about Paper Mario: The Origami King. So literally, if you're listening to these episodes in order, you would have heard us talk about it in the last episode. But no, Origami King was really, really surprising. My feelings about Color Splash and Sticker Star are well known and recorded online in various places. So going into Origami King, I was very hesitant. It looked really good, but like I didn't want to get like super excited for it. It's not Thousand Year Door quality in the slightest. It's really not a turn-based RPG. It's more of a puzzle game with RPG mechanics, I think is the best way of describing it. The entire ring battling system, like the normal enemies and stuff like that, it doesn't do too much. Once you understand how to kill an enemy with the ring pattern, it's the same thing every time. Where the ring puzzle mechanic really comes into place, though, is the boss battles. The boss battles are the best part about the game, because the ring mechanic works so differently for every boss battle. It's not clear how to beat the boss when you go into the arena. Back when Sticker Star was a thing, Sticker Star had the problem where you went into a boss fight and you would have to lose to the boss to figure out how to beat it. Like I remember going back with Sticker Star, it was the Pokey, and the Pokey would mention right before it killed you, like, haha, if only you could have hit me out of the park with a home run slugger or something like that. And it's like, the baseball bat sticker that I didn't put in my bag because it's a giant sticker that I didn't think I needed. Then you have to go back to the fight and do it again. With the Origami King puzzles, you go in, you have no idea what to do, but there's enough hints on the board and things you can do where you can beat the battle, and there's multiple ways to beat each boss, too. You don't have to do the one set strategy they give you. So that alone made the game extremely engaging. Make it Sticker Star and I'll help. Ken, I'm still going to tie you to a chair and force you to play. Color Splash. Yeah. I've heard Color Splash is okay. Again, I've heard it's better than Sticker Star, but I still hear that it's a pain to play. They didn't bring Color Splash to the Switch, did they?
God no. The heck?
Well, they brought so many of the Wii U games to the Switch. I'm just waiting for that one to come eventually.
Well, then you mean Color Splash, then not Sticker Star.
Yeah, Color Splash.
Yeah, no, either way, no. But I mean, I agree with the boss thing. I think that's an interesting kind of thing where, I've definitely kind of figured it out on the fly and kind of was losing initially, doing wrong stuff, and then I kind of was like, oh, I see. And, you feel like you kind of did something important.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the biggest problem I still have with these later trends of Paper Mario is just, still it's like the battles are relatively pointless. I mean, I get that this one, the coins are more relevant, but the fact there's no EXP, no level up system, which seems very basic in an RPG, but that's why like this game is more like a puzzle adventure game.
Yep. It's not even really nothing like a turn-based RPG.
It's really not an RPG anymore. It's just an adventure game, which is kind of sad. But it is what it is. And then those weird interviews that came out that were like from what's the company, Intelligence Systems or whatever, where they were literally saying like, hey, Nintendo told us that we can't just add fun new characters because they don't technically exist in the Mario universe or time frame or something, and therefore it would confuse our fans and whatever. So that's why they've been restricted to these toads or whatever the people meme about, apparently because they don't have that much flexibility anymore or something, which also seems insane to me that they would ever place that limitation like that on such like a fun franchise that's like a fun spin-off. I don't know. So
they're really trying
hopefully
to
though
they're really trying to keep their branding together. Like they're trying to keep like Toads are Toads, Koopas are Koopas, everything together. Because back in the Thousand Year Door Day, they created like all these different races that are all supposed to be part of like the Mario Kingdom, but they're not really part of the Mario Kingdom. Like the Shadow Sisters and the Punies and all that.
Right, but like that's what also made that game so fun and unique and memorable. And I don't know, there's got to be some sort of compromise on creative flexibility or something to where, the next game, and it's probably at least 5 years from now at this point, the way they've been releasing these, hopefully that one they'll have a little more creative freedom, or they'll have some compromise on something. But I mean, it's still one of those where it's like in the right direction. So
yeah,
I was at least pleasantly surprised that it was still going in a better direction.
How far did you get in the Origami? I know you didn't beat it, but how far did you get?
One of those games where, of course, I need to finish it, but I got up to, I think, the fourth ribbon thing, where I just did all the ocean stuff, and I just got to the spot where you'd actually like go in the place and like do it, I guess. I think that's what it is. Is
Bobby your current partner? The bomb?
I don't remember. Though I saw the whole thing with him.
Oh
no, I did not beat a Cousin Thomas.
Wait.
But yes, okay. There's a whole cinematic thing.
I don't want to
like actual probably you cried at that moment. But anyway.
Oh my god! I think I texted a lot of people when it happened that like Paper Mario: The Origami King had the most devastating moment of any game I played this year by far. Like if I had to pick a game that made me cry the most, or was like the most like what the fuck, holy shit moment, it's Paper Mario: The Origami King, like bar none. Nothing got that kind of reaction out of me until that part in that game. I'm not going to spoil it at all because you got to experience it for it to be impactful. Mm-hmm. But like I play like. I don't know. Like I cry at a lot of things. Like, granted, everything makes me cry. Mm-hmm. That destroyed me. I put the controller down and had like an existential crisis and had to walk around for a bit to kind of like regain like my composure.
Yeah, it was surprising actually, but yeah. So I feel like I played through a decent portion of the game. I do want to like actually finish that up. I think always the biggest problem is sometimes I always get this way with all these kind of it's not an RPG, but with all this type of adventure RPG games, whatever, is you always feel like you got to really commit like a lot of time to it. You got to be in that zone, in that mood. I'm so used to more of the like pick up, put down easily kind of games. Like you play like a game of League of Legends or something. That's just like a set amount of time right there, half hour, 15 minutes, whatever. And like that game exists in that period. You put it down, you're done. And next time you start it up, even if it's a week later, you didn't really miss anything or you didn't forget where you were. So a lot of these games, I'm like, I need like at least a solid hour to sit there and play. Like I feel less like I could pick this up, go one map over, pause it, done for tomorrow, whatever. I don't know.
I kind of do that with Paper Mario, where like I like beat like a couple of sections. Like once I beat like a ribbon, I called it like, okay, let me call it there for now. Because I didn't want to like blow through the entire game and like and have nothing to do. But like that game was so good. Like the story was so good, and the open world and collecting all like the little like toads and collectibles. Like they again like if it was a turn-based RPG, it'd probably be like my game of the year. But like they did such a good job with that world and everything. Like they did a really good job with it.
Yeah, I'm saying if they just put in experience points, leveling up something, the game would be phenomenal. Like, the story writing's great, the collectible aspect is great. I thought the map system showing collectibles and everything was great. The dialogue was hilarious. I love those toads. They say some of the funniest things. So, yeah, I agree. So that's why I definitely think it's a solid like game of the year kind of contender thing. Which also, funny enough, I don't think it won like game of the year award thing, but like on the actual awards show, but on a different award thing or something, I forget which award thing. It technically won Best Family Game of 2020.
Well, it was nominated. It was nominated for Best Family Game during the Game Awards.
I thought it also won it on something else, or maybe it was just that was the nomination. But maybe it was just the nomination. But it's just so funny because it's not like it's family friendly, but it's also
all Nintendo games fall in the family friendly thing.
That's the problem. I think that's where it fell into the trap of why they even got the nomination. But like, it's not a game that's even 2-player. It's literally a single player game, and it's not kind of like a. I don't know. I feel like family games should not have one person play and everyone watch, and that's it. And it's like, wow, what a family game. Like,
the nominees for Best Family Game were Animal Crossing, Crash Bandicoot 4, Fall Guys, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, Minecraft Dungeons, and Paper Mario. So those are all like by family. Those are all like the kid-oriented like games. Like you're not going to see Genshin Impact on there or anything like that.
I think it's more kid-friendly, but when I hear family game, like I think of more like my family sitting down to play this one night, and that's not what this game is. But I like it for what it is. It's a bad label.
I think for that you're thinking more of like a party game.
Right, I guess.
Like when I hear family game, I mean like my parents could take me to the Crash Bandicoot 4 movie, and it'd be family friendly. Is what I think.
All right. Yeah, maybe that. Yeah, it's a better way of thinking about it.
It's like a Disney movie. Okay. Disney movies are family movies. Nintendo games are family games.
I respect that.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything more about Paper Mario since it was your number 4?
No. I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, I do want to finish at some point. I do have a few days off coming up this week. I mean, I'm working tomorrow, but we'll see. So, maybe I'll see if I break it out, try to finish that up this week or over the next month or so. We'll see. But also, I do agree with Cousin Thomas in the chat. He agrees with me. Final Fantasy, that's kind of his feeling with that. Yeah, it's tough with those big games. You know, once you put it down for a couple days, you're like, and then the controls feel different, or you played some other game in between, and it's like.
I don't think that's what he was. I don't think that's what he was referring to. I think he's referring to being emotionally wrecked by a game.
You know what,
Thomas? Clarify in the chat what you were talking about here. I don't want Josh to be right.
Oh my god. Well, while he confirms that, I think that means you, I guess, need to go to your number 4. I'm wrong. Thank you.
Josh is wrong.
So you need to go. So, how about you go to your number 4 then? Because since my 4 was already discussed, then.
All right. Number 4. I guess this is kind of cheating, but like I think that it's acceptable. For number 4, I put the Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra DLC for Pokemon because we didn't get a new game this year. So these 2 DLCs are the equivalent of what a new game would have been. Like if they released a third version, this would have been the third version. And I feel like they're both big enough, and I spent enough time in both of these DLCs where they are essentially a new game.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I think that's perfectly acceptable. And as a spoiler, that was actually my number 2.
Yes, that is your number 2.
Yeah, I think it definitely counts. I think they literally admitted, like, hey, we're, at least for now, we're trying not to do a third game. This is your third game, and we're breaking up into 2 parts. And to me, yeah, I mean, it felt like it felt like an add-on, but at the same time, it didn't just feel like an add-on. It was an add-on that actually had new content with new story, new characters, and really enhanced your experience to where it kind of makes me think almost like now that we have both expansions, it's hard to kind of go back to only just having the original base game and then being like, yeah, I'm satisfied. Like when you know everything that's in the DLC, it's like, oh my god, it's like a brand new game, and I guess that's the point. So
the DLC added so many things and so many quality of life things as well. Like, I think on the show we only got to talk about I Love Armor, but since our last episode, Crown Tundra came out, and Crown Tundra alone added back every single legendary Pokemon, the raid adventures, new Pokemon in general, like new legendaries and stuff like that. It added so much that it might as well just be a brand new game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, of course, I prefer this method. I think this is what the third games should be, and I hope that they would do this going forward. Because, yeah, I always felt like, you know, you have, I guess always that comes to mind is Platinum. Like, if you go from Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, and then, yeah, I feel like because we get these all like day one, right? So, you know, like I would pick like Diamond as my main game. So I put like hundreds of hours into Diamond. And then next year or the year after, Platinum comes out, and it's like, hey, so like it's the same game, but the post game is really cool. And there's a couple new Pokemon, couple new features. You know, then you compare your hours, and it's like Platinum, I've maybe played 80 hours worth. And Diamond, I have like 400 hours or something stupid.
Really, for me, it's always the opposite. I always play the third game more than the others.
Well, the problem is I already put all my energy and time into the first one. That I'm kind of out of energy and out of motivation to put into a whole brand new one, do it all over again. And even if I do, I feel like I'm kind of rushing through it because I'm kind of like, I got that badge. Yeah, that come up next. You know, you don't feel that same joy out of it. Maybe those few pocket moments, whatever, but like that's it.
I think you, by picking Platinum, you're picking the wrong example, because Platinum to me is like the gold standard of the third game. Like that one has a completely different story. A completely different story.
Fine.
The entire region was changed. They changed the order of the gym leaders. Like Platinum has more changes, I think, than any third game combined. When I think of like lackluster third games, when you look at Emerald's the exact same game, except you have the Battle Frontier at the end.
Which the Battle Frontier is very cool. Oh no, but yes, it's the same concept, cool. Right? It's the same concept where you would love in a world.
Platinum is the gold standard.
That's true.
I'm gonna put that on a shirt.
Also, Cousin Thomas agrees with me.
Yep. So I saw that comment.
I know what my man's talking about. We're good.
I thought he was emotionally wrecked, because Final Fantasy VII is also an emotionally devastating game.
He's got emotions too, but you cry a lot more than he would.
This is fair.
But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so yeah, I mean, a perfect world, that Battle Frontier would be an add-on DLC to like Ruby Sapphire. But
correct, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think we're on the same page here. I mean, at least for me personally, at least I lose motivation on the third game half the time. I did love, it's not really a third game, but when they did Black and White and then Black 2 White 2, which was literally like changing up the map and stuff. I like it. I thought it was actually very cool. It made me feel like that was worth my money and worth playing through it with more motivation.
It's an amazing,
because that actually changed.
It's an amazing idea. Just I wish they had waited for the 3DS and not the DS.
I agree. I think the game engine itself, unfortunate, but I loved what they tried to do. But yeah, I mean, I think the DLC approach with Gen 8 here, I think they did it very well. Of course, you know, I'd wish that maybe the stories would be a little more fleshed out. Like Crown Tundra was kind of like, here's the one thing, and now just collect these things. And then, you know, Isle of Armor was more like, hey, so a few dojo things, collect this, run around here, and then just, yeah, you know. But I still like them for what they are, and I think they did a great job. So hopefully, it also, here's the thing. I hope that they do the same thing for Gen 9, but also you would think for something like Gen 9 down the road, you know, Sword and Shield allegedly, you know, started development for 3DS. It was only until they kind of were like, with that announcement of like, hey, so we're bringing all Pokemon games to Switch from now on. And it's like, hey, yeah. And it's more like Game Freak and whatever Pokemon company were probably being stubborn. And now they're like, Switch is really selling pretty well. I guess we got to kind of move over to there. So ideally, if they do it from ground up on Switch, I'm very excited for what they could look like also.
I hope so too, but I'm also worried about their approach to it. So they had the Let's Go games, which I love. Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. I think those are really cute, like, side games for the Switch. I think it was a good first introduction to get people back on the Switch and whatnot. But with Crown Tundra and Isle of Armor, so they've added so much quality of life stuff that, like, into the game for the very first time, and also they add a lot of stuff back. Like, we got, like, the Pokemon following behind you in the wild areas, better ways to train, all that stuff. For the next game, if all that stuff isn't in there from start, and, like, they have to re-add all these things back in later on, I think they're taking a step back then. I think that I don't want to say
sure.
I don't want to say the gold standard again, but I think that everything now in Sword and Shield with all the DLC, this is the base. They can only build off of this. If they regress in any way, then I think they're failing.
No, I agree, and I think this is going to be a good test because Gen 9, in theory, should not be coming out in 2021. In 2021, it is most likely Gen 4 remakes or some not Gen 9 game.
Let's go.
Right.
Let's go.
I think everyone
Johto, probably.
Right. Something like everyone can agree that it should not be Gen 9 coming out 2021.
It's too soon.
So I think that gives them enough time. And I think an interesting test, though, is the new game that comes out. If it is like a Gen 4 remake, ideally that would keep what you're saying. It would keep the Pokemon behind you. It would keep that kind of stuff. Maybe look very similar in terms of graphics and whatever. Which people complain about tree graphics, N64 comparison.
Yeah,
but whatever.
We don't have to get into all that. But if they do do a Gen 4 remake using the Sword and Shield engine, that'd be phenomenal. They can keep it'd be nice and simple, and they can make
And I think it gives them enough time to then do more of an overhaul for Gen 9. And ideally, though, you just like to see that in that Gen 4 game or whatever, the base game has Pokemon walking behind you, or it has whatever. Ideally, that's the trend, and it keeps going up from there. They established that with the Pokemon behind you. It's in day one from Gen 4 remake stuff, and then Gen 9 takes maybe the graphics to another level, keeps everything else more or less the same. Then the graphics are like so much better.
You could make the argument, though, that because Pokemon didn't fall behind you in Gen 4, that they would intentionally leave it out for the sake of making it like a canon remake or like a more accurate remake.
I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
I guess that's angle.
Speculation for the future, but like in terms of just Crown Tundra and Isle of Armor as like making it on our Game of the Year list, I think we both agree that the DLC was phenomenal. It added so much to the base game, and like if you played Sword and Shield and you weren't too keen on it, get the DLC because the DLC adds so much. Like, a lot of fun. Even the Isle of Armor DLC, which I was fully expecting for it to come out and for me not to care about it at all, I think I played more of the Isle of Armor DLC than I did the Crown Tundra.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, it's very close, but Isle of Armor kept me busy for a long time. I loved every minute of it. That interconnected island they built, like, the Crown Tundra is nice, but for me, it's still kind of annoying to explore. I still get, like, stuck on the Crown Tundra a lot, but the Isle of Armor, the way it's all linked together and wrapped around like a giant ant colony with these big open areas, you can go in different exits. The Isle of Armor is phenomenal. I think I love Crown Tundra, but Isle of Armor are also really good.
And I would just love if they bring this to Gen 9 where everything has those types of camera controls. Everything is like that, even the smaller route areas. There should be a way to make it work for Gen 9. So I'm hopeful. I love the ideas that they put into it, and they only expanded upon it, and I loved it more. So that's why I definitely think it could count as a Game of the Year thing, how much it changed things. And I agree. And it was kind of cool, though, because also I got to kind of experience, I guess, the game kind of from the start again. Well, I guess two different ways.
Me too.
Well, because when my girlfriend got it, she started playing with just the base one and then upgraded to the DLCs and stuff. And it, made me kind of play through it again in a sense and playing it with her and helping her with the Pokédex and everything. But then I also played my Shield version for the first time this year and ran through that and tried to get, the opposite legendary and all that kind of stuff. And so it's also been fun to kind of run through again quick and do some things on. And now I successfully was mark hunting the birds and
yes, that was very cool.
the Three Musketeer things, and I did all that stuff now. So I have personality marks on all 6 of those, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome.
They have the rare ones, so I have, and of course my Moltres has the really rare one with the rare mark, and I was like, ooh. But so it's been fun. So
cool.
It's good stuff, man.
Cool. All right, what is your number 3, Joshy?
All right, so we're finally differing with no overlap for once.
Yes.
So my number 3. Now you of course again judged me hard. I also want to slightly modify it just because I'm such a Riot fanboy. But
I know nothing of this game, so by all means take the floor here.
Fair enough. So I put my number 3 as Legends of Runeterra because that officially, I forget when the beta came out. I honestly think the open beta came out probably January, February, and then it officially released in April. I got in on the closed beta though because one of my friends literally works for Riot, so I think I got in on the closed beta technically in December. I want to say that sounds right to me, but either way, officially got released this year. It's basically League's version of Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering or something. It's their card game based off of their universe.
Okay.
And people say the way it plays is it kind of blends together Hearthstone and Magic in the way that it's kind of like Magic. Though I've never played Magic, but they say it's like it where kind of every action you take, more or less, the opponent can have their own reaction. So even if it's my turn, I can lead the action by playing something. And then because I played that, though, it kind of asks you as the opponent, be like, so do you want to do anything about this? Or you just want to let it go? So it's interesting in that way. But it's also kind of like Hearthstone, I think, in just the way that you have a lot of, I don't know, you have the health, kind of like in Hearthstone where you have 30 health. This one you have 20 health. Similar types of, I guess, kind of taunts in a sense, and things like that. Or I don't know. It's a slightly different style of play, but I think it's still a refreshing card game. It's a lot more free to play.
Okay.
You don't really have to pay things. Hearthstone is very, with any card game, honestly, like Magic or even Pokemon cards or stuff.
I know.
It's very pay to win. Right. And especially, Hearthstone is pay to win all the time. I mean, you got to buy those new expansions or else how are you going to get these new cards? With Runeterra, you keep playing, you earn the points pretty easily, and they have these weekly vault things, so you build up enough points by playing and things, and then you get extra cards that you can unlock, or wild cards they call it, where you can kind of trade in one wild card for the card that you actually want, almost like a Joker card or something. You apply it to something. So you can end up earning these cards pretty easily, or at least have enough to start with some decks that are relatively viable and keep going. And I haven't spent anything, but I reached platinum rank or whatever, the first rank season that they did it.
Oh, the gold standard.
Right. Well, yeah. So yeah, it's very free to play friendly. I think it's very fun, and for someone that really likes League of Legends and that whole universe, LOR as they call it, Legends of Runeterra, is honestly a pretty fun, refreshing card game. It is for the PC, but is also for Android and iOS. So I have it on my phone too, and it syncs up with it perfectly, kind of like how Hearthstone is. So you can interchange with that. So it's really nice integration with that. When they fully released the game in April, they came out with the phone app at the same exact time. So it's good timing there. And I also technically, I wanted to add on, because it did come out this year as well, though I just don't play it that much. But as the Riot fanboy, I did enjoy it for what it was worth. For Valorant, which is Riot's shooter game, which is relatively popular. And that's pretty fun too.
Oh yeah, people are playing Valorant a lot at the beginning of the year. I think.
Yeah, it got released midsummer. It officially came out, but they had the beta for a while.
Yeah, Mr. Pants in the chat, weren't you playing Valorant for a while? I remember talking to you about it.
Yeah, Valorant is it's pretty fun. It's kind of like Valorant is basically Counter-Strike and Overwatch.
Yes,
it's a blend of those both. Yeah, because
is it still popular?
It's like Counter-Strike.
Did it die out? I have not heard anything about Valorant in a while.
There's as of right now, there's 60,000 people watching Valorant. 60,000.
Oh, geez.
So Valorant's still going. Yeah, it's really like Counter-Strike and Overwatch, where it's more Counter-Strike based, but Overwatch in the sense that it's not just the shooting; you also have abilities and whatnot. Yeah, the one thing is that it's for PC only, and all those people that were good at Counter-Strike are so good at this game too, because it's all the quick keyboard mouse action and clicking whatever. I mean, you could play with, I guess, a controller, but you're not going to be as accurate or as quick usually.
Yeah.
And I'm not good at PC shooters. I've never played PC shooters really, so I'm pretty awful. And then half the time I forget that I have abilities. I'm just doing it like a regular Counter-Strike. I'm just kind of shoot the one thing. I forget that I have like 3 different skills and I could throw things and so it's a bit hectic, but it's fun. So there you go. That is my number 3.
Nice.
So what is your number 3, Kenneth?
Mine is Final Fantasy VII Remake. Which I almost forgot it came out.
Remake as game of... No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I almost forgot that it came out this year, honestly. When I was going through the list, I'm like, oh yeah, that was like the beginning of the year, that game. It is... I want to talk about this game, but I feel like if you haven't played it, I shouldn't say too much about it, because it is Final Fantasy VII. If you've played the old PlayStation game, it is a remake of that game. It's the same. It follows a very similar story with the same characters. It is an action-based RPG, though. There's no more turn-based, so you're going in, and you still have all your magic and all your abilities and whatnot, but it's like an active battle system, kind of like the Final Fantasy 15, I think it was. So in the middle of a battle, you can pause, use a menu, and you have to charge up attacks and stuff like that. The game was beautiful. It's the first part of many, because this one only goes to... Have you played FF7 at all, Josh?
I have never actually played any Final Fantasy game other than Final Fantasy Tactics.
Okay, well, Tactics is a good game, so I can't fault you there, but god damn it, dude. But this game, this is not a full remake of 7. This only goes up to the first 1/4 or 1/3 of the main game. So in the original game, you're in the city called Midgar for the first chunk of the game, and then once you leave Midgar, the real game actually begins. You do the big open world elements, or you travel the world and stuff like that. This game only goes up to when you leave Midgar. So this is part 1 of what could be a 5 or 6 part game probably. But they added a bunch of extra story and content to really stretch it out. So you can do Midgar in the original game in probably 8 to 10 hours. This is a 30-hour game of just being in Midgar, and it's fully...
Because I think they expanded... It was, I mean, to my knowledge, didn't they kind of reimagine and kind of add on to the story?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, so, I don't want to spoil too much, but the way this game is framed is that Final Fantasy VII in this universe has already happened, and we're seeing another universe where the same events are playing out, and these creatures, these spirits, are interfering with the universe, trying to make sure the events of the original game play out the exact same way. So, if a character fell and tripped in the PlayStation game, then the ghosts are going to make sure that character falls and trips in the PS4 game. These weird spirits are aware of the events of the past. So we're you play through the game, and the game is 98% the same story as the PlayStation game, but there are these little differences here and there that are oh, that didn't happen the first time. And when those little things happen, it's a really big deal. I'm not going to go into what these things are, but going forward now, once you beat whatever, I'm not going to say what the boss is at the end of this game. Once you beat this game, the events going forward now could be anything. So they don't have to follow the rules anymore of what the first game had.
Right.
So it's just it's really interesting to talk about. Like when this game first came out, me and all my Final Fantasy friends were like, "What does this mean? Did you notice that name? Did you see this character here? Why did that event happen now instead of then?" Like there's so many things going on. So like this is like a big love letter. If you loved Final Fantasy VII as a kid, you're gonna love this game. And it's not the same game, so it's not following the same beats anymore. It's super fun to play. I really did not like Final Fantasy 15 with the active battle system. I tried to play through it. I did not beat it at all. I just couldn't get into it. They tried combining like Kingdom Hearts style elements with Final Fantasy elements and just didn't work right. But in Final Fantasy 7 Remake, they nailed it. So as long as they keep using this engine for the next 2, 3, 4 games, they're going to be phenomenal. It's so fun to play, and the game is gorgeous. The music is great. It's really fun. Yeah, I can't say enough good about Final Fantasy VII Remake. Again, the only thing is it's only part 1 of what's going to be like a multi-part game, and it took like a million years for this one to come out. Who knows when
make the one?
Yeah, seriously. Who knows when we're going to get a part 2? And the part 2 is going to be so much.
Basically.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's basically like the new Kingdom Hearts. It's gonna take like 10 years to get the next one.
That's honestly a fair comparison. But yeah, I'm very excited for what it's gonna be.
I definitely know a lot of people were streaming it at the time when it came out, and I watched it here or there just because I was like, I know people love this game, and it looked good. Yeah, it looked really good. It was just half the time I'm like, I just don't have time to play this, so I'll at least watch a little bit on stream to just kind of know what it's about and be like, yeah, okay, that looks pretty cool.
I honestly think that you wouldn't appreciate it as much if you hadn't played the original.
Right, I agree.
Like, I'm sure you would still be good, but like, I don't think it is as impactful because like when certain characters say certain words and I like, oh my god, they said, like, I don't think like the average person would like hear that word and like, huh, okay, like I don't think they would care at all.
Right.
But yeah,
very true.
That's my number 3. It is a phenomenal game, but again, it's part 1 of what's going to be a much bigger series. I just hope that it doesn't like take a million years. Yeah, Thomas in the chat. The original game was on 3 discs, so Midgar was the first disc, basically. So back in the day when you left the city, finally you had to put in disc 2. So we got part 1. So like it makes me think that it'll be a 3-part game, like a trilogy of these Final Fantasy VII remakes. But like I could see them going like really, really big and making it like a 4 or 5-part series if they wanted to. I have no idea. And like the ending, they're showing things that make no sense. Like this is gonna be the next Kingdom Hearts for me for a while, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
All right, so Josh, your number 2 was Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra, which we already discussed.
Correct.
And
so it looks like you're going again, sir.
I mean, I could, but your number 1 and my number 2 are the same. So I just talked a lot about.
All right, fine. So do you want me to go with my number 1?
Yeah, go with your number 1. Go with your number 1, and I'll chime in.
All right. So my number 1. To no one's surprise at this point, because if I haven't said it yet, and people that know me and know how few games I play aside from League of Legends and Pokemon, the number 1 on my list for 2020 is Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Ooh.
And that was your number 2.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I definitely went like super hardcore on this from the day it released into the summer. So definitely a bunch of months straight. And then I think it was kind of when work started to pick up a bit. And then, I don't know, something else. I just kind of like dropped off of it more, and then no updates were happening really, and then it was like, Yeah,
the summer was.
I still have to get back to that eventually.
The summer was super dry for everyone, I think, in terms of updates.
Yeah, and I know that they've had recent updates with the holidays and stuff, and they're going to have another one in January and whatnot. So eventually, I really still want to at least run through and like literally time travel backwards to just play through the events for the day and be like, oh, that's fun. Oh, that's fun. Yeah. And then catch up. But yeah, no, I think this was definitely an incredible game. I mean, as Cousin Thomas was saying, I mean, it like saved him and stuff. You know, like it was cool. I mean, it was like everyone was like stuck home. Everyone was playing this. I had friends that didn't really play anything like this were trying to buy this game and stuff, and were asking me questions about it. And like, oh, visit my island. I'm like, you have this game, you know? So it was pretty cool. And as it is, like one of our friends, like, well, not our, one of my friends from college, she had like a birthday or something in like April or May or something, and we literally like did a birthday for her or something like on the game. It was like 8 of us or something. We got on one island and we were like, hey, happy birthday. We're like a Zoom call thing, but also on the island walking around or whatever. Like it was fun. So I think in terms of improvements on the game, like if you go from like New Leaf or something, I think the actual improvements aren't that crazy in terms of like characters or things like that. I think the biggest thing is, you know, like terraforming and whatnot, and, you know, like Nook Miles and, you know, other things like that. I was hoping there would be more in terms of characters, I guess. Or I feel like they teased me a bit with the kind of like a story progression, and then it kind of just dropped off a cliff the second you get the terraforming and, well, you know, KK Slider comes. It's just like, okay. Yeah, it's like, oh.
A lot of this stuff is why this game is number 2 for me this year, because Thomas even said in the chat, I put 650 hours into this game. I've probably played it more than most people. I have every fish, I have every bug at this point. Like, I've done, like, literally everything you can. But, like, I can tell, like, this game was not released early, per se, but like it's not, the game isn't done yet. Like they've promised to keep updating it for the next 2 years. There's still like dozens and dozens of characters missing in the game, tons of elements that were in past games that still have not returned yet, that I do think that by the time this game is fully updated, it'll be there, but it definitely isn't that yet. Even before the game came out, you and me, when they first showed it at E3, we were very like, uh-oh, there's crafting, and like, where's like the main street, and where's all these characters? They aren't here. And then as we got closer to release, a lot of those fears went away, but it was still like, okay, where's the art gallery? Where's Red? Like, so many things were missing, and they've added in all those things back, like a lot of those things back for free too, which is phenomenal, but it still feels like a game in development. They've been doing good with the holidays this year, but even the holidays, they seem kind of like one note. Like every holiday is still talk to like the person who shows up that day, walk around, talk to all your villagers, and you're pretty much done with the event that day. Like Toy Day that just passed. For Toy Day in New Horizons, you talk to Jingle, you get the Magic Santa sack, and you talk to all the villagers, and you go back to Jingle. Where in New Leaf, you had to play the entire month and talk to your villagers, and like, oh yeah, I want something blue this year, or I want a car. Like they would describe what they wanted slowly over time. So you had to play multiple days to like figure out what kind of gift they wanted, kind of like make a little challenge. In New Horizons, you just walk around and talk to them, and the Santa sack knows what to give them. So it's like, okay, like it's still a nice event, and there's still some things to do, but it's dumbed down a lot. And I don't think that it was intentionally dumbed down. I think that like, hey, we need to get out a Thanksgiving and Christmas update and a New Year's update before the end of the year. So Nintendo's developers during COVID are really crunching to get these things out in time. Which I'm glad that they're doing, and they've hit their mark every single time so far. But I think that 2 or 3 years from now, when this game is done being developed and updated, it's going to be the game we want it to be now.
Yeah, I mean, always the one problem is that, you know, I think because it was so popular, because of basically the world's circumstances, you know, so many people were invested into it, and that brings about so much more creativity, so much more whatever in the community. And you had those people putting out videos of like, this should be the next update. And it's like incredible updates. It's like, wait, you can craft things in bulk now. You can do these things. And then you look at it, it's like, wow, that really seems like a no-brainer thing. It doesn't seem that hard to do, at least on a very surface level. And it's like, wow, yeah, that's really great. I hope they're listening to us. I hope they're going to put this in the game. And then it's like,
Well,
No,
this goes
or
back,
at least not yet.
this goes back to what I was saying. I think that they've been so focused this year on getting all the holidays, because like this game shipped with no holidays at all. Like there were no holidays in the game when the game shipped. So they, for the first year, they really need to get these holidays out, and then they can start focusing on like other things that aren't holiday related. I think that's where that's where they're tripping up right now.
I just feel like they had enough of time where I feel like there's someone that's got to be working on this at the same time. Like, how much do you need for the one holiday thing? Like, it's not like they needed to integrate a whole season. You know, they had seasons in the game. It's just
you and me aren't
a matter of putting
game
the
developers, but
I know, but in my mind, I'm like, you're putting one NPC. Maybe you're changing some slight things. Extra dialogue here, extra dialogue there, and kind of set up dialogue trees. But like at the same time.
All the new furniture, furniture models, all the new dialogue for the villagers, the new clothing.
You know, you try to think about how many people. But you think about how many people are working on this game. I don't know how many people, but like, let's say that there's 50 people working on it. There's no way that like 5 people can't work on bulk crafting to just have one new dialogue text box come up there. Like, those are things in my mind where I'm like, I get it, but I don't get it, and it's frustrating. I think that would have made the game more compelling than it even was.
Like it's still a phenomenal game. Like again, I can't say it's like those Steam reviews where like the person played 1,000 hours and gave like a 1-star review. Like game's broken, don't care. Like it's not a broken. It's a phenomenal game. And during COVID, especially like getting to like visit other people, interact on their islands, and trade back and forth. The amount of like servers I joined for like either the turnip trading or the fossil trading, all that stuff like that. Like that was really fun. Getting to shape the island with the terraforming is one of like the biggest things about this game ever. I think like it really opened up a lot of possibilities. Like there's so much good to say about this game, but it's not done yet. It'll be done in a couple of years.
Yeah. That's why I think it's still my game of the year. Like it's number 1 out of things I've played for all the good that it has done. It's just, I guess, because it's been so popular and because there's been such a spotlight, it also points out the flaws or things that could be improved upon. So it's a little disappointing in that aspect. But at the same time, great game. And I know at least for me, it was a great time to play with that kind of stuff. And, I do wish that they had more multiplayer features, if you visit someone's island. But, it was fun watching a lot of videos on things and how people were organizing their island and what I wanted to do. And, it was still like a nice thing to play like with my girlfriend or with other friends of mine or even with random people. So I like it a lot. That is my number 1. And hopefully it will not be a game of the year contender for next year, but hopefully as you're talking next year, it will maybe win the most improved award. So there you go.
Well, yeah, because you gotta think, because if you look at the list of characters that are still missing from the game, like you could see them adding in like Tortimer back into the game and adding his entire like little vacation island with all the mini games. Like you could see them adding tons of stuff.
Maybe. I mean, you could say that, but at the same time, if they have already other things to just add on with the bulk crafting and buying more than one shirt at a time in the Able Sisters, like. If it takes them forever just to add that, I mean, I don't know.
But here's the thing: where holidays have to be out by a set time, now they have the freedom of like just adding updates whenever they feel like it, and like where bulk crafting isn't exciting for like maybe like everyone. To you and me, it's exciting. Now they can add in like for like let's say like April this upcoming year, they can add in Brewster and his cafe. But also just a little thing, we've added now bulk crafting. Like they added in the storage expansion recently, and that was just like a little thing thrown in. So like, I can see them throwing in little things like that now that they have the freedom to do more freeform updates for the next 2 years.
I mean, it's an interesting angle. So I hope you're right. I want you to be right. So we'll see. It's
still a cute game too. Like I love it, playing it every day.
No, I agree. It's very adorable. I mean, I watch at least like one streamer that streams kind of like Animal Crossing and Pokemon, and sometimes they'll flip between both in one stream's worth, or just kind of. For a few days, here's just Animal Crossing or something. Like it's still fun to like still watch some people play it, whatnot here or there. But it's very cute and stuff, and I don't know. It's still a great game. I'm not trying to make it like a bad game. It's literally my number one. So
Yeah.
it's good, man.
It's a good game.
But of course,
it came out at the perfect time.
It did actually, but for you especially. But for you, this was your number 2. So, sir, I would love for you to tell me what your number 1 game of the year for 2020 was.
All right. Well, Animal Crossing and my number 1 could easily be like flipped. Like it's that close to me.
So are you talking like a Doom Eternal, Animal Crossing, same day? No, okay.
No, nothing like that. It really boils down to the fact where New Horizons is still in development to my mind, and my number 1 is a fully fleshed out game. Now, granted, my number 1 started out in early access, I think like either a year or 2 ago, but it finally had its full major release this year. So my number 1 is Hades. It's the newest game from Supergiant Games, and I'm not like a stranger to Supergiant at all. I've played Bastion, I've played Transistor. I don't think I played they had like a soccer game. I did not play, but I've played all of their games, and this one could not be made more for me. It's a hack and slash, roguelike, Greek mythology base game. Like, everything about it is just amazing. You play as the son of Hades. Your name is Zagreus, and you have contacted your family on Mount Olympus, like all the Greek gods like Zeus, Poseidon, and stuff like that, and they want to help you escape the underworld and get to Mount Olympus. So you go through the underworld, and as you go, they send you like their powers. Like Zeus can send you like his lightning, Poseidon can send you like waves of water to like move around and stuff like that. But and you try to get up to the 4 different floors of the underworld until you reach the surface. But every time you die, you get sent back to the underworld. So like, you're not really dying. You're like your body dies, and then you quickly show up in a pool of blood, and then you try to go through it again. But Hades, your father, sees you trying to escape. So every time you try to go through the underworld, he changes the format of the underworld, so you never play through the same room twice. The rewards are always different.
Right.
The power, it's very Binding of Isaac in that sense. I know you're familiar with that, so that's what I'm trying to compare it to.
Yeah, I mean, it's any sort of roguelike game, even like Rogue Legacy or something, which has a decent comparison because, to my knowledge, you're getting things that you can actually keep for your next run.
Yep, you're
or you're at least advancing in some way.
You're collecting gemstones, you're collecting darkness crystals, you're collecting nectar, ambrosia, blood of titans. You're collecting all these different things. So every run you do, you're definitely a little bit stronger than you are your previous run. Mr. Pants in the chat mentions so many voice lines. The entire game is voice acted. There's not a single line that is not voice acted, and I have not heard repeating dialogue yet. Every time I talk to someone, they're saying something brand new. I have like over 100 hours in this game, and still no dialogue yet has been repeated. Every character has
that's pretty good.
Yeah, every character has something interesting to say. They have all their own storylines. There are romance options, like you can like get with certain characters if you like charm them enough. They're all different weapons. You start out the game with just a broadsword, but there's a spear, a bow and arrow, gauntlets, a shield, a gun, all these different things. And the game is just phenomenal. The story is really good too. Like the way they compel you to want to reach the surface, because you're trying to just escape your father because you think your mother is dead. But eventually you find out that your mother is actually alive and on the surface, so it gives you more motivation to try to reach the surface. And even after you reach the surface the first time, something happens where you find out that you can't stay on the surface for too long. So it requires you to keep playing the game again and again and again to reach the surface. And after you get to the surface a certain amount of times, the main story kind of like concludes, but then you go back and there's still more things to do, and it doesn't feel like a grind. It's like, oh, there's a purpose to wanting to keep doing this. There's also a difficulty like thing built into the game where you can make the game as difficult as you want it to be. There's it's called a heat level. So like after you beat the game with a weapon, like okay, I can get to the top of the underworld with this weapon. It's not that difficult. You can raise the heat, so you can increase the enemies that appear, or increase the amount of damage you take, or put a time limit on your runs, basically, to make the game harder. And as you make the game harder, you get more rewards for it. When you get more rewards, you put it into your weapons, and like you can craft the underworld. Like you have like a room and a lounge that you can buy cosmetics for, and like there's just so much to do in that game. It's such a polished game. It's ridiculous. And like it just shows like this is one of the rare cases where a game that came out in early access took its time to like be perfect. I feel like there's so many horror stories of a game that's in early access forever and finally comes out and like no one cares. This one took all the time and attention to become like this perfect game. It really, I'm probably underselling it at this point. It's really amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's been super popular with a lot of people, and, you know, I've seen maybe some streams here or there, though a lot of people don't seem to, like, stream it, but just a lot of people are like, oh my god, I love this game, whatever. And, yeah, I mean, it looks cool. I mean, it's just one of those, like, games that I might enjoy, but, like, I just don't have the time for it, or I'm not willing to make the time for it over other things.
This is the type of game that would work well for you, because you can really pick it up, do a run, and then put it back down.
Right, that is true.
Like
so
it's
maybe
designed.
I have to give this a better look.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe I have to give it a better look. I do like the aspect of where the one thing that I always hate with like Binding of Isaac is you do all the work, you lose, you're done, you go back from the beginning, nothing really gained. You just kind of do it again.
Yeah.
At least with this one, I feel like, you know, if I pick it up, play it for an hour one day, pick it up a month from now, I technically made progress.
Correct.
So I do like that.
Yeah, you're constantly making progress in this game no matter what. And it's really interesting, too, because after you finish a run, Zagreus wakes up in, like, Hades' like main hall, like in the pool of blood, and all the characters in the hall have like exclamation points over their head. So you go and talk to them, and everything they say to you, it's all fully voice acted, and they refer to what happened in your last run. Like when you first get out of the pool of blood, your brother Hypnos is there. He's like, "Ooh, you got backstabbed by a centurion. Oh, I'm sorry about that, buddy." Like he knows what killed you and how it killed you, and like he'll make references like, "Wow, you've died 100 times. Congratulations!" Like he makes like little remarks about that. And if you meet characters on your run, like if you meet do you know the story of Orpheus and Eurydice?
Probably.
It's a Greek story about a guy who goes into the underworld trying to get his girlfriend back. Orpheus. Oh yeah. Orpheus is in the hall playing for Hades. He's like trapped there. And Eurydice, you can meet her during your runs. So like you'll meet Eurydice on a run, go back and say, "Hey Orpheus, I just saw Eurydice," and like it progresses a story between the two of them. So there are all these little mini stories happening in the game. So no matter what you do, even if you constantly keep losing, like you're gonna keep getting story and items and all these cool moments, and like there's fishing in the game. You can collect different fish, and you can decorate the room, and there's so much to do. It's ridiculous. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I did also like the whole like mythology aspect to it. I mean, I did take that mythology class in like 12th grade.
Oh, I remember.
Fun class. But yeah, no, it is pretty interesting. I do like the concept. Maybe I'll give a better look to it actually and play this, because you know, a lot of these people say game of the year, whatever, but like I only care about our game of the year rankings. So now that you have it as game of the year, now that gives me the confidence to try it myself. Yeah,
like granted, I was going to go through a couple of things here. Now that we're kind of like wrapping up with the game of the year talk. Like there are tons of games this year that I just didn't even get to play. Like I did not play Last of Us Part 2. I didn't play Ghost of Tsushima. I didn't play Doom Eternal. I didn't play Half-Life Alyx. I didn't play the new Spider-Man game. I didn't play Valorant. I didn't play the new Assassin's Creed. I didn't play the new Call of Duty. I didn't play Phasmophobia. I didn't play
chess.
I did play chess, but like nice. There's so many games here I just did not play, and like some of them I just didn't have any interest in. Like I don't care about Last of Us Part 2 at all. I don't care about Cyberpunk, which apparently is a huge just clusterfuck of a game right now. There's so many games here I just did not care about. but like Hades was one that I was aware about, and it came out, and I was blown away by how polished and how good it was. Again, it's a small indie game. It's a small indie game that kept like they knew what they were doing, and it's amazing. Then you have giant inflated games like Cyberpunk and Last of Us I couldn't give two shits about, and they're apparently the most overhyped things ever.
Well,
like I loved Last of Us. I loved Last of Us Part 1, but Last of Us Part 2, I heard nothing but bad stuff about. People that I knew kept like stop playing the game because they didn't like the story, or the gameplay was just too like Uncharted-ish. And so eventually I read the story for Last of Us Part 2. It's a crap story. It's a really I'm so glad I didn't waste my time with that story.
Right. But, I mean, it still won like all the game awards,
it won every game of the year. I don't understand. Is that the industry making a point there? Am I wrong?
Yes. I think it's more like they know that the first one was good. The second one seems good. What the heck? I don't know. I feel like they kind of just
it's the same thing that happened with Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, I'm sure that game is fine, but I heard a lot of bad stuff about it, and just because it's Red Dead Redemption 2 and it's the Rockstar game, it got all the awards. So I'm like, okay.
Well, I never played the second one, but Red Dead Redemption, the original, amazing.
Yeah,
I love that game.
First one's very good. First one's very good.
So I do have high hopes that the good recommendations are actually like good for that game. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, as it is, D in the chat saying even the Spider-Man Miles Morales, that came out this year. Did you play that at all?
No. I played the original Spider-Man for PS4, and that game absolutely is one of my favorite games of all time. I'm waiting till I eventually get a PS5 to play Miles Morales.
To then play it on there?
Yeah, because Miles Morales, you can play it on PS4, but like I've heard like that game is like designed for the PS5 and shines on the PS5. I don't plan on getting a PS5 until God of War comes out. So
okay.
But yeah, no, right. I've heard amazing things about Miles Morales. I heard it's short, but like it was designed to be short. So that's not really a bad thing, I guess.
I mean, it's crazy, though. I mean, with everything going on this year, a solid group of games did come out in 2020. I think it just depends on the person. For me, I feel like I still didn't play more games necessarily. Like, I feel like I played still the same amount. I'm still, like, hooked on League and Pokemon and stuff. And I've dropped off a bit on the Hearthstone because I replaced Hearthstone basically with either like Runeterra or more Pokemon. I feel like I've picked up on the Pokemon this year. Mm-hmm. So, at a certain point, I'm like, those games are consistent and get updated, and with Pokemon with the DLC and whatnot. And, it's like, shoot, like I don't have time for all these random games, but still a lot of games really did come out with everything going on. And I mean, even though we didn't put them in our game of the year, I mean, some of them are probably, if you ask other people, probably all of our games, maybe except for like a couple, are probably not even close in anyone's game of the year. They're probably like, oh, Ghost of Tsushima, whatever else.
Yeah, I heard. I guess
Animal Crossing. Yeah, so to each their own, but
yeah. That's why this is our personal list. A
lot of good games did actually come out.
Yes.
Yeah, our personal list is, relatively heavily biased because we tend to be on relatively similar wavelengths in our choosing.
Yeah, I think one, two, three of our five were the same across the board here.
Yeah, but that's why, if anything, we got people in the chat and, looking up other games and whatnot that did win other awards and things helps kind of build the conversation and whatnot.
Yeah. And again, I'm sure all the PS5 games, like in terms of the PS5, I want to play the built-in Astrobot game. I heard that's actually really fun. I want to play Spider-Man. I want to play Demon's Souls. There's a lot of good stuff like right now for now it's the current gen consoles, but I have no interest at their, because you've seen how all the new games are $70 now. Snacks, yeah.
I would love to point out, I said that when we were talking, probably on our last episode, I was like saying that it would go up to 70, and you're like, nah.
Well, that's the thing. It's not every game. I called it. It's not every game, though.
But I called it. I said it would go to 70. And you said not yet. Nope.
I think it's gonna revert. There's no way that I can see that standing.
For our loyal listeners, I called that. So, you're welcome. I gave you guys the early heads up. So, if you normally only set aside $60 a month for a game, if you took my advice, you set aside an extra $10, and you're welcome. Also, thank you, Cousin Thomas.
I'm not engaging in this discussion.
Anyway, also Bugsnax, weird game.
Yo, Bugsnax looks fun though.
It's so stupid, but it's
essentially
wannabe Pokemon, but bizarre.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like Sony's Pokemon.
I love it.
I don't have time for those knockoff things, but
it was the PlayStation Plus game for November, so I downloaded it. So if I ever get a PS5, I have Bugsnax waiting for me.
Fair enough. Cousin Thomas recommends, so I guess you'll be playing it.
It looks fun. I heard like the ending gets really messed up too of that game. So we'll see. Well, now you're just fighting with Thomas in the chat.
I know. He knows me. I only got a limited amount of time to play things. I don't got time for spin-offs and weird Pokemon-esque things, and I don't want a PS5 at the moment. I'll buy a PS5 probably 10 years from now when they're trying to get rid of them.
When the Switch 5 is out.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that Switch 5. That's really my calling. I really want the next installment of Paper Mario that's going to come out on the Switch 5. But yeah.
It's going to take that long for the next one to come out.
At this rate, I'm not expecting any Paper Mario anything before 2026. Just my honest opinion.
That's fair.
Because didn't Color Splash come out like 2013, 2014?
Maybe? I didn't play it. I don't know.
Fair. Oh, it actually came out 2016. All right, so 4 years. All right, I'll change it. 2025. That's my new target date. 2025.
So you think 5 years for the next Mario?
Yep, 100%. Okay. 5 years.
All right.
2025.
2025. Enjoy. All right. You heard.
Also, Cousin Thomas, for the record, no, the PS4 is on a box, so it's not on the floor. There may or may not be dust, but it's elevated anyway. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got a brand new PC waiting for me, so I don't know if I'm gonna need a console for a while.
I'm excited, man. When you move, you plug that thing in. You hope it actually works. I'm assuming you tested it.
Oh yeah, no. It turns on and powers on fine. Just I haven't set up Discord and OBS and all the accoutrements.
I was gonna say don't just build it and then leave it there and be like, I'll just play it when I move, and then you move it, it's like nothing works. Nothing turns on. It's like
It turned on. It booted. We got past the initial screen. Everything worked. So
okay, good. So hopefully if you're coming back to streaming more regularly, aside from podcasts, whatever, if you're actually streaming, Twitch gotta watch out.
That's the plan. Again, the biggest thing with all this content stuff is consistency. So as long as I have a computer that I can consistently stream on and not have to worry about Animal Crossing running at 2 frames a second.
That was depressing. I was so excited for you.
I was so upset. I moved around my entire room. I got all the lighting. I got all the stuff set up, and then literally that stream lasted for 10 minutes because the game ran like ass. I just got so depressed. I'm like, what? Why 2020?
But yeah. So some exciting news on the Kind King L1 channel front.
Yep, the Discord's already been revamped for when I come back to streaming.
You're ready.
I'm ready. I'm doing everything I can.
So when are you moving to your new place? What's a rough time frame here? Is that January? Late January?
I'm still saying January. I don't want to get into too many details.
There's no official date yet?
No official date yet, but I'm still saying January.
So a safer estimate for streaming purposes, let's say maybe a special Valentine's romantic stream to really bring in your viewers. Is that what we're looking at?
As depressing as that sounds, yes, probably.
That might be your angle. Everyone else is enjoying the holiday, and you're just join me on my stream. Let's go. and you've got like hearts in the background or something. I don't know.
Hello, ladies. Are you home alone, single as well? So am I. Come watch me stream Animal Crossing.
You know what? You got to play for your first game. Then you got to play Monster Dating on Jackbox. There you go.
My God, done. Monster Seeking Monster. I love that game. That game is so much fun. Have you played?
Play that on stream.
Have you played the new Jackbox at all?
Maybe.
It's okay.
Maybe I did slightly. I don't remember now which one is which anymore. I don't know. Though I might be trying to play some Jackbox with some college friends over the next week or so, which might be fun. I don't think this is going to be the newest one, but just something. But
I should mention...
I'm just giving you ideas.
No. I should mention the big thing that pushed me finally to go to the PC is they announced that the next Binding of Isaac DLC is not coming to Mac. They finally had enough trying to like support it because again, Apple changed their entire structure a couple of years ago, and pretty much 99% of my Steam games don't even work anymore because of Apple's changes. Yeah. So this was the final push that I needed. So the final DLC, Repentance, should be out very, very soon. It was supposed to be out this month. That's why there was a rush to get my PC built for December. But it's not coming out this month. I'm assuming it'll be in January. So like, even if I've moved or not, the day that DLC drops, we setting things up and we play in it. I'm
telling you, if you want the consistency, if you want the viewership for your regular streams, I mean, if you're playing the new hot game that comes out and you're good at it, which I mean, at least I think you're good at the other ones.
I'm good at Isaac. This is going to be the hardest DLC by far, but we'll see.
So as long as you're good at it, people would want to watch someone that's good at it. And then you could be like, new PC, haha, and to do like exclamation point PC in the chat. Here are my specs. Whoa. I don't know.
That's actually not a bad idea.
But yeah, sounds good, sir. And I guess we're wrapping it up. So
yeah, we had like other stuff to talk about in terms of like TVs and movies and all that junk. But I think that we're going about 2 hours now.
We've been going on for a while.
Yeah.
And at this point, I guess we'll see everyone probably before E3 or 2021's version of E3 in about June or so.
If there even is an E3 this year.
No, I mean, I ideally, we'd stream or do a next podcast sooner than that. What would be cool is if you end up moving or something in January, we do one from your new place. Might be fun.
Yes, if you want to come visit and whatnot.
Ooh. And also, what's it called? I forgot. Last new thing I want to mention, that's it. We'll wrap it up. Is, did you see new Pokemon announcement for New Year's or something from space?
The sun rising thing.
All that's going to be is just some random space Pokemon like Rayquaza or whatever, Deoxys or
I'm
whatever.
not.
And then the thought is like, oh, would they actually throw in purposely Dialga and Palkia and be like, haha, guess what that means? Like, I'm not expecting anything. I'm really not expecting anything. It's not worth losing sleep over it or getting that hyped for it. I'll check it out or I'll look at what people said about it. But don't expect a whole brand new game announced on New Year's.
Yeah,
don't.
Definitely not.
But my advice...
Pokemon Sun and Moon 2. Pokemon honestly, Stars. Pokemon Stars, finally.
True. You know what? Fine. Create all the expectations.
I also want to mention before we go, January 3rd, the 1000th chapter of One Piece is coming out on January 3rd. It's a milestone. It's already leaking right now in Japan, but it does not come out officially until January 3rd. No idea what to expect, but like it's a manga that I follow very closely that's reaching 1,000 chapters, so that's a pretty big deal. I might be doing something on New Year's to celebrate that. I had this really dumb idea of reading through the entirety of the Wano arc on Twitch and doing voices and shit.
Go for it. I mean, Sure. What the heck? Create some buzz.
Yeah, it's like 90 something chapters right now that want to work. So it's going to take like a couple hours to get through all of that with different voices and whatnot. But I think it would just be something fun to do and just kind of like celebrate, like, hey, it's 1,000 chapters. Like, I can't like draw fan art, or I can't do like, all this like fancy stuff people do to celebrate things normally. But hey,
you can read.
I can I can read. I can fight.
So yeah, I mean, if you want, I mean, of course, for me, since I don't read the manga and I only watch the anime portion, and I'm behind because of that, I'm not up to date with the current chapter or whatever. I'll support you, but I'll have you muted. So
I might
I'll listen to the first portion of it.
I might do like a product. Okay, if you're only watching the anime, this is where you should stop.
Right. I think that would be smart. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's exciting though. The story has never been better. There have been some giant reveals in the last like 2 weeks. So chapter 1000 has like all the hype in the world right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right. Anything else you want to throw in there, Josh? Here, or should we wrap it up?
I think we're good, man. Just nice to do another episode with you. Nice to see everyone coming out in the chat. It's been nice.
Thanks,
unannounced, because we don't announce anything. We just do it, and then people are just like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I was gonna tweet it out and put it in the Discord and stuff like that, but I just hit start and like, all right, I'll just do it and see what happens. I'll be much better in the future once I start doing this consistently. That's the thing. I don't want to start like putting on Twitter like, "Hey, it's that time of the year again. Time for the Jiggy." Like, no, I'm not putting on expectations.
Right. I think it's also more if you were streaming consistently, like regularly streaming, and they'd be like, "Hey guys, change of plans. Instead of regular stream for now, here's the podcast. If you want to tune in," like that makes more sense.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, you got to get to that stage first, and then worry about all Discord notifications and whatever. So
yeah,
we made Cousin Thomas's day, so there we go.
I think the Discord actually did work though. If you go to the Discord right now, it did put one in the announcement section saying that we were streaming. Yeah, it worked. So the Discord is working.
Announce. Oh yeah, okay.
Yep, so that worked.
Okay, that's pretty good. Very nice.
I don't know if Nightbot is in the chat. I set him up, but I don't know if I put him in. No, he's not. He's not in the chat right now. But the Nightbot will give out the Discord when I turn him on. I forgot to turn him on.
Nightbot is slacking.
Well, you need to like you need to put him into the chat. It's a whole big thing.
Okay.
All right. Well.
Oh man, you're a tier 3 sub. No. Okay. Anyway. Just keep going. Continue.
Yeah. Well,
ignore me.
I think we should wrap it up here. Thank you all who did show up for the live recording. Meant a lot to see so many people come back for a completely unannounced podcast. And I hope everyone is staying happy and healthy. I know 2020 was a garbage year and it was the longest year ever, but hopefully everyone managed to stay healthy and happy and sane for the most part. I know it's been stressful on all of us.
It won't magically get better when it turns to January 1st, but hopefully
the overall
keep going
year
on the
is
upward
better.
trend.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Until next time.
Until next time.
Oh, go ahead, Josh. You
go for it. No. I mean, I'm taking your shot.
No, do it. I'm proud of you. Do it. Come on.
All right. Until next time, this is a JK Podcast. I'm Josh Brandman.
And I'm Ken O'Connor.
And have a wonderful end of the year. And
we will
see you in January.
We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There you go.